Hey everyone, let's jump right into this explainer on daily team maintenance using the beach flags ritual and learn how to act as a literal lifeguard for your project team's mental well-being. If you manage people, you already know the deal. Project-based work is incredibly high pressure. We're constantly juggling, competing demands, tight deadlines, complex team dynamics. Honestly, some days it really does feel like juggling chainsaws. But while we're obsessing over timelines and deliverables, we so often overlook the absolute most critical component of our success, which is the mental health of our team. So today we're going to explore a highly tactical, incredibly effective framework from our source material that's designed to help you catch the invisible dangers of team stress way before they pull your project under. Our roadmap for today covers 1. The rip current of stress. 2. The beach flag system. 3. The daily snapshot ritual. 4. The weekly reflection. And 5. The business impact. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The rip current of stress. Invisible team dangers.
You know what's really wild about project-based work? High stress is totally normalized. We often don't even see the crisis until it's simply too late. In fact, our source material points out a staggering reality. 76% of employees experience burnout at some point in their careers. Think of workplace stress exactly like a rip current at the beach. It's this invisible, silent threat. On the surface, your team might look like they're swimming along just fine. Hitting deadlines, crossing off tasks, everything looks great. But beneath the surface, chronic overload, isolation, and a fear of failure are actively pulling them out to sea. Because we've normalized things like working late and skipping breaks, leaders often don't spot this rip current until team cohesion is already destroyed, errors are piling up, and burnout has officially set in. We desperately need a way to see the current before someone starts drowning.
Moving on to Section 2, the beach flag system flagging environment.
So the million-dollar question is, how do we make these invisible dangers visible? Well, just like a lifeguard flags a beach to tell swimmers about the water conditions, we need a way to flag our team's psychological environment. We map our simple beach flags directly to Harvard professor Amy Edmondson's psychological safety zones. Let's break this down real quick. A green flag means your team is in the healthy or learning zone. This is where psychological safety and accountability are both running high. People feel totally safe to ask for help, they're energized, and mistakes are simply treated as learning opportunities. But then we have the yellow flag. This is the early warning or the apathy zone. Here, you start seeing hesitation. People are a bit withdrawn, small avoidable miscommunications keep happening, and the work just feels repetitive. It's a huge signal that the team is disconnecting. And finally, the red flag. This is urgent concern, mapping directly to the anxiety zone. This happens when accountability is super high, but psychological safety is low. Tasks absolutely must get done, but there is zero space for vulnerability. Silence takes over your meetings, disagreements are suppressed because there's simply no time to deal with them. That right there is the classic setup for severe burnout.
Section 3. The daily snapshot ritual. Real-time team check-in.
Okay, let's talk mechanics and see how this builds into a really practical routine. How do we actually roll this out on your team starting tomorrow morning? We do it through the daily team well-being snapshot. It works like this. Every morning and at the end of every day, ask each team member to pick one flag color, green, yellow, or red, that describes how they feel about the team's atmosphere that day. Step 2, they share it. Now, this can be done openly in a team chat or anonymously through a simple poll, really depending on your team's current trust levels. But the true beauty of this ritual is Step 3. Absolutely no justification is needed. You don't have to explain why you're throwing a yellow flag. You just throw it. This extreme simplicity and super low barrier to entry means people will actually do it, which gives you real-time data on the team's emotional state.
And this brilliantly illustrates a core philosophy from our source material. Mental health isn't static, it's an everyday practice. By capturing this daily data point, literally just a simple color, we can sense the atmosphere in real time. We can stop relying on those annual employee surveys that tell us how people felt 6 whole months ago. Instead, we can actually spot those subtle shifts into the yellow or red zones on a Tuesday and address them before they become a full-blown hair-on-fire crisis by Friday afternoon.
All right, Section 4. The weekly reflection meeting. From data to action.
Because let's face it, data without action is pretty useless, right? So at the end of the week, you schedule a dedicated 60-minute team conversation. During this time, you review the daily colors together. What patterns did we notice? Did we start the week green but somehow end up red? Why did that happen? You discuss what behaviors or events caused the green days and what triggered the yellow or red flags. Now, listen closely here, because this is crucial. This is not about tracking individuals or pointing fingers. It's a structured conversation to collaboratively improve the team's working environment. At the end of the 60 minutes, the team works together to decide on just 1 or 2 small changes to improve resilience moving forward. Maybe it's establishing a no-meeting Wednesday or adjusting a bottlenecked deadline. The point is, the team owns the solution. I absolutely love this quote from the source material because it perfectly anchors everything back to our core approach. Visibility is the key to prevention. When everyone can clearly see the flags, everyone becomes accountable for the safety of the team. It completely normalizes the conversation around stress, strips away the stigma, and turns well-being into a shared operational metric.
Section 5. The business impact, safety and performance.
Now, I know some of you might be thinking this sounds like a lot of feel-good fluff that just gets in the way of real work. But the hard numbers absolutely tell a different story, because mental health and high performance are not at odds. Creating this kind of psychological safety has a massive, undeniable impact on retention and trust. According to the data in our source, employees in psychologically safe environments, where proactive maintenance like this beach flogs ritual happens, are 5.6 times more likely to trust their company and leadership. They're also 2.5 times more likely to stay with the company for 2 or more years. The takeaway is simple. When people feel safe, they stay.
And here is the kicker for bottom-line performance. Teams with strong mental health support report a massive 23% boost in overall productivity. Why? Well, because when you remove the silent anxiety of the red zone, you unlock the innovation and creativity of the green learning zone. People aren't wasting all their energy protecting themselves, they're channeling that energy into solving actual project problems. Balanced leadership proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that well-being and performance are deeply, deeply aligned.
So, I want to leave you with this final thought to really chew on. Take an honest look at your own project team right now. Without even asking them, what color flag do you think is flying over your team today? Is it green, yellow, red? And more importantly, now that you know exactly how to make the invisible visible, what are you going to do about it tomorrow morning?